Okay, so 11:10 on the 10th of April. We're doing another currency call today. It is Good Friday. I hope you're all having a Good Friday. Thumbs up if you are. Well, most of you having a Good Friday. All right. So we're going to go through today. We're going to be talking about the US CAD and also the WTI. A lot of things to go through today because of what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday was there was almost a deal in WTI, but not really. Okay, so we're going to go through a bit more details into that. Um, I had quite a number of questions from the Traders Club in in the comments and talking about trades and talking about setups and psychology. I probably would not be answering them today. I'll leave it for Monday because we have Easter Monday. Markets will be very quiet today and also on Monday. So I think instead of doing such a in-depth detail analysis on Monday in terms of the Aussie and the New Zealand, I'll be doing a little bit of that, and then I'll be going into more questions, answering your questions, and also helping you with your trading psychology and mindset as well. So in the meantime, between now to Monday morning, put your questions in the Traders Club. Keep asking me questions. I'll take note of them, and then we'll answer them on Monday. If I don't answer them on Monday, remind me, and then we'll go through that as well. Okay, so let's get started with the US CAD. As usual, before I do that, make sure that if you have any questions, leave it in the chat. We have Chinwei, we have Kenneth, we have Daniel, we have Jonathan here, who will be answering them, giving you summaries, and also taking note of all your questions. I'm going to try and run as many polls as I can. So whenever I ask you to give me a thumbs up or answer to an opinion question, put it in the chat as well. Let's start. First, share. Okay, so here I have the US CAD on the daily chart. US CAD on the daily chart. What we see here is that the US CAD has had quite an interesting move, I would say. I wouldn't say it's been very volatile. Looking at this, I wouldn't say it's been very volatile. What it's been doing, is actually been sitting in quite a tight range. On a daily chart, I'll show you that it's been quite a tight range since July last year to Feb. It's been sitting in that range of 12964, so about 1.3 to 1.33. It's been sitting in that range a good about 300 over pips, and it hasn't been very exciting, right? It's been possible to trade, but it hasn't been super exciting. And then comes February, suddenly we see a massive weakening in the CAD and the strengthening in the US dollar. It shot all the way up into the 1.45 level. Several reasons because of that. The US CAD has been cutting rates. We've been seeing rather weakish economic data from the Canadian economy, but more importantly, we've been seeing the oil prices tank. Oil prices now are, I'll show you that later, but it's actually been moved from 61 all the way down to, it moved from 49.50 all the way down to where it is now at about 23. So as we see the US CAD shooting upwards, we've seen the oil prices crashing downwards. So, straight away, I'm pretty sure you can all draw that relation between US CAD and oil. And that's why I've left the Friday to be looking at these two pairs together. Between the US CAD, for the US CAD right now, that gap is huge. That gap is about 1,180 pips. We need something in the middle. For now, I would look at putting something at this level now because it's dropped here, it stopped, it bounced back up, it dropped down again, and it stopped right there. So at 1.39, or maybe even I would like a round number, I'd say about 1.4. It's at a support zone right now. Can it go down further? It looks like it's trying to break lower. So based on the bigger time frame, it looks like the US CAD is trying to go lower, but it is still at the zone. Could it bounce straight back up again? That's also very possible. All right. After 4 days of doing, on my 5th day of doing my currency analysis, I'm not going to be asking you guys about whether you think the US CAD is going to go higher or lower, because you're caught on, and you probably are going to tell me that it depends. So what does it depend on? It depends on the possible deal with oil, okay, and also the overall relative strength of the US dollar. But that's for in the daily chart. That's in a longer time frame. My view is that we could see CAD coming lower, CAD strengthening a bit more as demand for the Canadian dollar is likely to increase, which I will elaborate on further. For the traders in us, we'll be looking at a smaller time frame on the H4 chart right now. So this shows you even a better picture of how the US CAD is sitting in a very good zone right now. You know, it's sitting in that zone of the 1.40 level. Don't make a bet. I really would advise you, don't make a bet whether it's going to go lower or whether it's going to go higher, don't make a bet unless you have that buffer. What I mean by buffer is that profit buffer that you've been generating already. Trading is a lot about confidence. It's a lot about confidence, a lot about mindset. So if you were trading this on the first day, this is your first day trading, I would tell you don't enter a trade, look at something else, right? But if you've been trading and we've seen people making very good returns, even in this past 10 days of the month, the first 10 days of the month, they've been making really good returns. I would say, hey, if you were to take a educated guess, right, and to say that at this point, I'm going to risk even 200 pips, thinking that if CAD is going to go lower, I'm going to risk 200 pips to try for 500 or even 200 to 500 pips. Would that be a good trade? Put it in the comments, put it in the chat. Would you be happy, given that you got the profits, reasonably sized trade, to risk 200 to make 500 pips on a relative gamble, educated gamble, I would say? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Kenneth says yes. Tommy says yes. Kim Hong, yes. Yep. Anyone else? Yes, with buffer. Yep, definitely with buffer. Good. All right. So most of you have, well, actually all of you have answered yes. These are some of the trades that even I take. I mean, this is why I'm suggesting it to you, is because these are the kind of trades that I'm looking for, when I trade and then I know that I've got a sizable or reasonable profit buffer. I'll be looking at, hey, can I take this point? If it breaks, I'm going to put in a trade here, risk 200 pips to try and make 500. In the worst case, it goes up, it hits my 200 pip stop loss. I'm still in profit, reasonable risk. If it goes down and hits my 200 to 500 pip profit, I've doubled or tripled my account, reasonable reward, right? So these are the things that I would be looking for when I'm looking at trades, only when I have that confidence. And I mean confidence not in terms of just mindset or what I feel, but confidence in terms of being able to take the risk because I have that profit level. Make sense to all of you? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Awesome. Okay, so I threw that. I didn't even plan to discuss about that. I threw that in because I saw it as a fantastic opportunity there. In the smaller time frame now on H4, what will what will drive prices lower or higher for the US CAD. It's going to sit there for as long as it takes for the deal to come through, right? What deal are we talking about? The oil deal. All right, let me share with you the next screen. Okay, so on Forex Factory here, if I scroll down, you know, all the news has been about what? OPEC, OPEC, OPEC. OPEC is the central body that talks about, that discusses and tries to arrange the overall production, the overall supply of oil to the globe. And in turn, you know, by affecting the overall supply, they also affect the overall price of oil as well. So what's happened now is that yesterday, they almost came to a deal, right? They almost came to a deal of reducing production by about 10 million barrels, you know. So can you see my mouse here where I'm highlighting? It's for 10 million barrels per day of cut, right? So if they cut output by 10 million barrels, what do you expect oil prices to do? Go up or go down? Give me up or down? Up, right? So as supply decreases, as supply gets cut, they expect prices to go up. However, did the deal go through? You know, deal didn't go through because Mexico was not willing to cut as much as they were asked to. I think Mexico was asked to cut about 400,000. They offered up to cut up to 100,000 barrels per day. So we don't have a deal right now. This is why, if I bring you back to the charts, we see that in oil, we had let me just bring this to a smaller time frame. We had a good spike up because everyone thought a deal was going to happen. Can you see the spike up? Yep. And then, no, wait, deal didn't happen. And it came straight back down again. All right. So they thought, hey, there's a deal. There's going to be a reduction of 10 million barrels a day. Prices went up. You know, did it go up by a lot? Right? It went up from 25.88 to about 28.56. Right? So it jumped quite a bit, but then no deal. It came straight back down from 25 to 22, where it is right now. Okay. So at this point now, it is still going to be in discussions. I'm sorry, for today, I'm flicking between the news a lot because it's quite a news-driven scenario right now. They're looking to discuss this, to continue discussing this, but it will happen over the next couple of days. So we probably won't see anything happen today. Weekends are not going to happen. Monday is Easter Monday. We might see a gap on Tuesday, right? What I mean by a gap, switching you back to the chart again. What I mean by a gap is we might see that prices are here right now. The next move might be here. So there's a gap in the middle. Or we might see that if a deal comes through, well, let me make a bigger gap. Right? It might do that. Right? So it might have nothing in the middle and then the straight price drops to that level, or nothing in the middle and then straight price appears here and shoots up again. So those are the two scenarios of what happens if there's a no deal or if there's a deal scenario again. No deal and deal keeps bringing you back to the pound, but we're not going to get into that. So looking at the CAD, if there is a deal in the oil price, in the oil production, what's going to happen to CAD? If there's a deal in oil production, we could see it doing exactly what we hope it does, which will give us a very good rate of return, right? A cut in production levels is likely to bring prices higher, which would make CAD drop because CAD is very related to oil. Higher demand for the Canadian dollar, higher demand for Canadian dollar would bring it lower, right? So we could see that happening. I think the most likely scenario is that happens, right? I don't think well, I think in relation to everything, they are looking to try and make a deal happen. The hurdle right now is not massive. You know, it's only it's getting Mexico to agree to an additional 300,000 cut. I don't think it's massive. So I think in my opinion that we could see a deal happen there. So likelihood, you know, I'll be quite keen to see that trade, 200 pip and a 500 pip profit trade running through there. Okay, any questions on the US CAD for now? If it helps, you can type it up. If not, you can also unmute yourself and ask that question. Any questions? Going once, going twice, 3 times. Oh, okay, just got in. All right, so Suyun asked, perhaps short-term movement on tonight's CPI news. I think although we see that the US dollar, there's a CPI news on the US dollar, we could see a little bit of weakening in the US dollar. We could see it coming down a little bit. I wouldn't play too much because especially for the US CAD, the oil agreement is going to overshadow a lot of the economic news that comes out. So with the CPI news coming out from the US, I would actually focus more on other currency pairs rather than the US CAD. Make sense to you, Surin? Okay, cool. Any other questions? That was a good question. Any other questions? No. All right. Looking at the WTI oil. All right. I'll be very honest with you. I've never looked at WTI. This is not a pair that I trade. It's only included because I've got many of you asking for this pair. All right. So let's look at it. Right. Where do we start? Again, WTI. We start with drawing our boundaries. What's the lowest point it can go? What's the highest point it can go? Lowest for now, we know that it's going to be at 20, right? That's a very obvious point. It's hit that point and bounced up. The interim, I wouldn't say this is the highest point, but the interim point we would say is 28 because it hit that level, you know, couldn't go higher yet, it came back down again. So it's sitting in that range for now. I'm not going to draw the highest point back then because it was quite a long time ago. Well, saying I'm not going to, I just did, right? So there you go. Those are the few lines that I have. In the middle, I wouldn't do anything because there's no real significant places to put my lines right now. So at this point, you know, looking at it on a daily chart, we think that prices are likely to come down maybe a little bit more as we banter between is the deal going to happen or not. Indicators are showing us that it's possibly coming down. This brings to mind that I want to tell you, I'm pretty sure I've told all my students here before as well, you know, if you trade only based on the indicator, only based on indicator or only based on price action, what's likely to happen? You're likely to get caught out. You know, you'll be making money, but then you're likely to get caught out because what happens is, if you look at this sped up MACD that you all have, which I created, and you all think, hey, it's going to come down, it's a great time to sell, right? And if you sell at this point, thinking that I'm quite happy to risk, you know, 652 to try and make 290, it's a terrible risk reward. But you think with the indicators telling you to sell, you're going to jump into that. And then the news comes out. The news comes out that they have agreed to a production cut, prices shoot up, right? Then you see that with the news announcing it goes to resistance, and then if it can break resistance, it goes even further. It probably will go to 50, it probably go to about 30 something. right? So again, this is a forewarning. Don't trade just based on the indicators. Go through your 5 steps, look at the news, look at what's possibly going to drive prices higher or drive prices lower. Then look at the indicators to give you a better idea of when to get into a trade. Now, what if we don't have a deal? What if we don't have a deal and prices are likely to continue dropping? Because I know Robbie asked me that question a couple of days ago. How do we keep drawing more support resistance lines? I can tell you that it's been a very long time since we had prices go lower than $20 per barrel, right? So I can't even get more info there. So how do we draw more lines? I would, at this point, at $20, I would just put in another line at 15, right? Just to give me an indication if I were to enter a trade. I don't want to be entering into the unknown being, as far as it can go low. I want to get into, if it's going to sell at 20, I'll get out at close to 15 to reevaluate whether it's going to go further lower or whether it's going to bounce back up. So it gives me still a boundary of what kind of trades I can do, not expecting it to drop all the way or to continuously drop all the way down. Does that make sense to you? Thumbs up if it does. Have I lost everybody? Okay, good. So just gave me a thumbs up, so I'm going to move on. Right. So why I also believe that the deal is likely to happen is also because we have not seen prices at this level for as long as we can see, right? So what we've also seen is that at the $28 per barrel level, we have seen very significant moves upwards, with very big reactions upwards from that price level. So I actually do believe that, in OPEC, they're calling each other's bluff right now. They will eventually come to the point where they do increase, where they do cut production and then eventually increase prices in oil. That's all I have to share with you right now. Do you have any other questions that I can help you through? Everyone's happy? All right. So if you're all happy, we're going to keep this a very short and sharp session today. If you do have any questions, put it in a traders club. Keep sharing your charts. Tommy has had a fantastic session where he shared his trade idea. We talked about it. We talked too much about it actually, and then he eventually didn't get into the trade, which I believe saved him some potential losses as well. So put your questions in the traders club on Facebook. Actually, let me just bring it up again just to remind you. Give me 1 second. All right. Can you see Traders Club? Thumbs up if you can. All right. So if you see Traders Club here, we have, this is a fantastic thing that we've done is it's a private group, so not everyone who wants to join can join, you just have to apply to join. We want to keep it a safe place for everyone to share their trade ideas. Yongjin was sharing his trade ideas, could it go up higher, trade to get into. We had Tommy sharing his trade ideas as well. So I really enjoy this space where everyone's sharing trade ideas and then we can do our comments. Daniel is on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, answering all your questions, giving you all your feedback. And then we save you from entering bad trades. And also we encourage you to enter fantastic trades, make money together. Okay, so if you have any questions, put it in the Traders Club. I will get the questions there and I'll answer them on Monday. So Monday is going to be quite a heavy Q&A session. with a little bit of the Aussie dollar because it hasn't moved that much as well. All right. So short and sharp, have a fantastic Good Friday. Enjoy your Good Friday. Stay at home. Don't go out to the markets. Yojin, we're watching you. All right. Have a good weekend. And also, I'll see you on Easter Monday. If you want to bring an Easter egg as well, let's all eat an Easter egg together online. All right. So take care. I'll see you all again soon. This video will be up on Facebook in the private club shortly. Take care now. Bye bye.